Hello, it's Kelly here and welcome back to my channel When the Stars Aligned. And this video I want to get right into it and I want to talk about a few components of your astrological chart that can help you understand what is it that you really want to do in life. This is a question I get asked the most and I tend to work with my clients most around in my one-on-one coaching journeys and mentoring journeys or human design readings is like, I want to know what I'm here to do. I want to know what my purpose is. I want to know what's really going to fulfill me on a deep level. First thing you're going to want to look at is your North Node. The North Node in your astrology chart is going to be indicated with a little curly symbol. You can find this when you look up your chart on any charting software. I like to use astrocharts.com. I really like their interface. So you can find what your North Node is, and then it's going to be helpful to know what your South Node is. So it's going to be the opposite sign of that sign. And your North Node is kind of like your North Star in astrology. It is what you feel the deepest fulfillment when you move towards. It's the kind of archetypal energy, quality, way of being that your soul, your beingness, is going to benefit by embarking on the journey of. So for example, my North Node is Scorpio. Opposite side of Scorpio, opposite side of the spectrum is Taurus. So my South Node is Taurus, meaning more so my past life qualities or my past life archetypal energetics were probably more linked to Taurus, which is very much about the body, the senses, money, structure, foundation, security, stability. It's very focused on the earthly material world. Scorpio is focused on the metaphysical, the energetic, the esoteric, the eros of life, intimacy, the taboo. That is where I get the most growth from moving towards. And I can see that hugely in my own journey of life and what's been up until this point and really noticing how the Taurus energetics, although they are beautiful and such a huge part of who I am, that kind of grounded, nurturing stability, what does expand and feed my soul the most is when I'm moving towards the path of Scorpio and what that uniquely means for me. So North Node is showing us, where is your soul most satisfied? Now, a few things to say about the North Node, which I think also directly linked to what it means to be successful, what it means to be satisfied, what it means to be happy in life. The North Node journey does not inherently feel easy, okay? The North Node journey of moving towards the thing that feeds your soul, it's not easy, but it rewards you for all the effort you put in. So it will be hard per se, but I think it's only hard to the extent that you deny it or suppress it or ignore it. It's kind of like that, is it Joseph Campbell says like, your calling will keep calling you, but it's going to get louder. And sometimes, or is it God will first whisper, but if you don't hear the whisper, he will yell. And if you don't hear the yell, he will shout. And if you don't hear the shout, there'll be a catastrophe. The North Node journey is always beckoning us forward. It's that deeper call from our soul, but we have to have the courage to listen to it and take the steps on that journey, even if we don't know how to do it. It's inherently going to feel unfamiliar. Maybe that's a better word than hard. It's unfamiliar. You haven't done it yet, but you know you need to. And that was always the journey for me. Like, I had an upbringing that was, emotionally complex and challenging in its own ways and kind of saw a lot of death from a young age and hardship. But there was a very strong sense of like safety in my body. Like, I always felt very connected to my body. I always felt really safe to play. I always felt very connected to my senses and my physicality and to food and to like, I was a little bit of a hoarder. Like, I had all these collections as a kid, which is classic Taurus energy. Like, I had coin collections and bottle cap collections and ticket collections. I just collected things. Very Taurus. Where Scorpio is like letting go. And I noticed that up until this point, I'm still growing and learning. I have grown the most when I lean into the energetic of Scorpio, which is intimacy, emotional depth, letting go, healthy detachment, really devoting myself deeply to the things I'm passionate about, listening to the voice of my desire, not wronging my desire, not wronging my fascination with intimacy and the nature of eros and sacred sexuality and how that can be so pure, and a woman's relationship to her body and her menstrual cycle. Like, I'm into very taboo things, but it was quite a process for me to embrace that. And I actually had some challenges along the way. And I believe that's a true thing. When we're walking our North Node path, there's going to be distractions. There's going to be illusions. There's going to be deception that can try to pull you off that path. One of my mentors, she calls it Mara, which she got from her mentor. It's like I think it's a Buddhist term for illusion. Is it illusion? Mara is illusion, or the devil? I don't know. So things that try to pull you away from walking your path. And it's not like you're lacking personal responsibility for it. It's like, what part of you is giving into that? And I've definitely had some experiences as I've embraced more of my Scorpio energetic. I have had to deal with some heartbreak, some loss, some betrayal, feeling like ostracized or demonized for caring about the things I care about, or for loving the things I love, or for seeing the value in the things I see value in, like witch wound stuff, like being demonized in ways. And I got some initiations of like, are you gonna walk your path no matter what you might have to lose, or what you might have to go through some challenges with? Like, will you stand by your heart? Will you stand by your relationship to God and how God's moving through you, and not get stuck in like illusions or things that try to pull you away from that or make you wrong for that? So North Node energy, walking that path, is a very powerful way to step into your purpose. So North Node energy is a very powerful way to understand what is it that your soul is craving on a spiritual level in this, multi-dimensional, trippy game of life, and what context might that take. I think the North Node can show us a lot about that. Like, people who have Capricorn North Node, their soul is here to become very familiar within the realm of establishment, with putting things in the ground, with putting a stake in the ground, with building projects or organizations or businesses or homes or relationships, whatever their unique affinity is. Capricorn North Node, you're here to go on the journey of really learning what it is to put a stake in the ground and to devote to something for the long game, to put in the work, to put in the hours, to learn how to be disciplined, to learn how to show up even when you don't want to learn how to rise into that grandfather energy. Maybe you have a Pisces North Node. You're here to become familiar with the lucid, with the nonlinear, with the spiritual and the etheric, and perhaps the more transcendental aspects of life. Psychology, transpersonal psychology, maybe even astrology, things that have to do with the 12th house, the unconscious, the deeper desires and motives, maybe NLP or neuro reprogramming, things that are working on more of a unconscious, ephemeral, lucid plane. So your North Node is going to show you, I believe, the realm, the ocean in which you are really going to feel deeply fulfilled. Now, a second component of your astrology chart is your Mars sign. Why the Mars sign? A lot of people think about Mars sign as your masculine energy, your drive, the way you kind of assert yourself in situations. It can also give glimpses into your sexuality and like how you express your sexuality. I really think the Mars sign is important for purpose and for your, heart-aligned vocation in the world, because it shows you what gets you fired up. What is it that makes you fired up to move towards what you want? Our Mars sign really shows how we tap into passion. It shows how we tap into vitality. Mars is the masculine. It's the driver. It's, the sense of putting yourself, you're all into something, and how you physically get something done, and how you physically move towards what you want, whatever that may be. So when you know what your Mars energy is, you have an idea of, okay, this is the realm I'm swimming in, this is the ocean I'm swimming in, my North Node, but my Mars is showing me how I want to show up in my work. And I think this is really important because it can be so easy to homogenize ourselves in this current day and age of entrepreneurial boom, the entrepreneurial boom, the coach boom. Like, oh, this is how you become a coach, and this is how you do your work, and this is how you do your user-generated content. Like, this is the formula, this is how you do it. But let's say you have a Mars in Cancer, you're gonna operate, and you're gonna need to operate in a very different way than a Mars in Aries. to have stamina and stability and to feel passionate and sustainably driven on what you're doing. So Mars can really show how do you show up in your work. Let's say you have a Mars in Cancer. The emotional connection to what you're doing is of utmost essence. So you're going to thrive in any career where you're able to utilize your emotional depth and your emotional feeling capacity to direct that into something, right? Where like I have a Mars in Leo, I need to have a sense of like passion for what I'm doing. Mars is our passion. Leo is like a very passionate sign, and it's expressive, and it's also like heart oriented. So it's like, it's hard for me to do work where I don't feel like I'm coming from my heart. And I even like want to move my body in that way. It's like, I want to like bring my heart to the table, and I want to do what I do with passion. And I love dancing, and a huge component of my work is with embodiment and helping women get back into the pleasure of their bodies and the expression of their bodies and the ecstasy of their bodies and the beauty of their bodies, which for me is a very like Mars and Leo quality. I need to be able to do what I'm doing with a level of passion. So your Mars sign can show how you go about your work, the kind of role you want to play out in your work. So those are two components I wanted to take you through, your North Node and your Mars sign. If you want to dive deeper into this, you can book in a personal one-on-one session with me, or I offer long-term coaching to birth your soul business in the world. It's something I love working with people on, to really understand how to bring themselves into what they're doing, how to find their unique gifts and essence so that they can contribute to the world in a way that has deep meaning to them. So you can find those links below, reach out to me. And also I'd love to hear what your North Node and your Mars signs are in the comments below. And I will catch you in the next video.